So I wanted to make a video about a discovery I made that I think pets need sodium, or they're gonna, if they're eating store-bought kibble, because that has grains in it, and even it's getting harder. There was a grain-free fad that was going on a few years ago, and that was great, but now seems like there are less choices. And I like Beyond. I mean, I don't like Beyond, but my cat does. It's like the only kind of cat food she'll eat. The only brand I've tried so many bags of grain-free, and then she won't touch it. So I'm stuck with Beyond as the only thing that she will eat. And they do make a grain-free, and but then they have two other kinds that have rice and another kind that has oats. And so I bought her the completely grain-free last month, and then she ate it at first, but then she stopped eating it and got too thin. I could feel her bones under her fur. She's 14 years old. And so then I bought her favorite kind, which has rice and cranberries in it. It's got to have, like, I've noticed it's got to have like cranberries or sweet potato or apple, or else she'll get constipated and her anal glands will get impacted. So, but when she's eating the stuff with the rice, she starts getting joint pain again. And I know so many of our pets these days have joint pain, and they have shortened lifespans. They used to live longer. So then I remembered that and wheat, really, like, if I noticed, like, I was buying her Greenies cat treats, which is, there's very limited pet treats here in Texas. Wherever you live, like, they get different brands of food for people, pet food, cat food, whatever you want to buy at the store, and human food as well. But okay, I forgot where I was going with that train of thought. Oh yeah, the Greenies. I started feeding them to her because they were grain-free, but then she got such bad joint pain that she was vomiting all over my apartment all the time, and it was ridiculous, like 3 vomits a day. And it wasn't just hairballs, it was vomiting. And then I found on earthclinic.com somebody's vet. Most vets aren't this smart, veterinarians. Somebody's veterinarian figured out that her dog was vomiting excessively from pain. I think that what's going on is when the animal is experiencing a lot of pain, then that makes too much stomach acid, and then that makes the animal vomit. So that's a sign, if your animal is vomiting a lot, that they're having joint pain from the grains in their food. If they're not like a horse or a cow that's vegetarian. So the Greenies pet treats snuck some wheat into as one of the top ingredients in their cat treats, and then I noticed. So, that's why I was buying them, is because they didn't have wheat. And then I'm like, let me see what's in these ingredients that I was just buying without once you get in the habit of trusting a product, you're not going to read the ingredients every time. And there it was, wheat. And then I quit giving her the Greenies cat treats, and she quit vomiting. And her joint pain greatly improved. She quit hobbling around, and became more active and playful. And so wheat is like the worst thing to give a cat or a dog, but even like rice or oats does in fact give my cat pain. And in fact, she vomited last night, and she doesn't vomit much anymore. So anyway, I also noticed, since I've had this cat 14 years and cared for her a lot through a lot of illnesses and health problems, that she and I were homeless for a year, I kept her in pet boarding, and she wasn't eating. And she was a fat cat, a big fat cat, and she, not really obese, but round and tubby. And she stopped eating in the pet boarding because she was so stressed out with the presence of all the other cats. She's half feral, and she lost weight so fast that her liver became jaundiced, and the vet working at the pet boarding place said that she'd never seen a cat that jaundiced before. I noticed because the inside of her ears turned yellow. And so I had to save her life, giving her daily IVs and force feeding her pate cat foods, wet cat foods. And that was the vet told me that's what I had to do, and she almost didn't make it. And then one day, I had brought tacos from Taco Bell, and I gave her some of that taco meat, and she loved it. She ate it right up. This is a cat I had to force feed who wasn't interested in food. And I noticed she loved Taco Bell meat. And I've just noticed since then that she loves salty food. And for example, if I'm on the carnivore diet now myself, but I used to indulge in buying a slice of pizza from the QT store, a block from my house. And if I was out for a walk and was hungry, I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna buy a piece of pizza. It's cheap, and I crave salt all the time from adrenal exhaustion. And I'd bring it home and share some of the pepperoni with her, and she would love it. And then I never made bacon because I was avoiding pork for a few decades of my life, trying to eat by the way the Bible says to eat, and that I was doing that, trying to improve my health, my mental and physical health, which was pretty bad most of my life, my adult life. And but I started cooking bacon, allowing myself to eat pork, and just having a pepperoni pizza is one thing, but actually going to the trouble to choose a bacon, there's a lot of variance in the quality and price of bacon. Choosing a bacon, and then cooking it, and that it's kind of it's not an easy thing to cook. There's all kinds of ways to cook it. It makes a huge mess. But I did start bringing bacon back into my life, and I noticed that my cat loved it. And there was one of her health problems the past couple of years was she had the feline upper respiratory virus that never goes away, but is dormant. And it when it would become active, she would get a tear running out of her eye, watery eyes. She would lose her appetite because that cats lose their appetite when they have the virus active because they can't smell their food, and then if they can't smell, they're not interested in eating it. And then she got a fever. Her ears were hot. The pads of her paws were really hot, scary hot. And she went in the cupboard and slept all day. And that's how I know my cat is really not feeling well. Is she'll go in the kitchen cupboard and sleep all day. And normally she doesn't go in the kitchen cupboard. And that night I had bacon for dinner, and I was kind of on a thing I loved baking sweet potato slices in the oven in the bacon grease and having bacon and sweet potatoes together for dinner. And I think she came out of the cupboard, yeah. And I shared the bacon with her, and she just loved it. She ate. I gave her as much as she would eat. And then she went back in the cupboard, and half an hour later, I was sitting on the couch, and she came out and sat with me, and her fever was almost all gone, half an hour after eating the bacon. And then an hour later, her fever was completely gone. And I posted about it on Facebook, and one of my friends said, "It's the sodium." And I was like, that got me thinking. And I intended this to be a short video, but it's turning out to be a long one. It's the reason that the sodium's helping her is because of the grain in her food. Now, here's the final piece of the whole thing. My favorite cookbook is Sally Fallon's book, Nourishing Traditions. And a lot of her stuff is based on the Weston A. Price Foundation. And one of the little side thingies that her book is full of, there's little side notes and things from books and studies. And the side note says that vegetarian animals need salt. They must have salt. That's why people put out salt licks for deer. And then also, like, I was watching Marty Stauffer's Wild America, and he did an episode about the porcupine. And the porcupine, like, all it eats is trees. Tree bark, I guess, and wood. And so, like, when people have noticed they have a huge problem if they live out in the wilderness, or, if they leave, like, an axe out, the porcupine will be attracted to the sweat from the person's hands on the axe because of the salt in it. And I guess they chew on the on things like that and destroy people's axes and other tools because they need sodium. And with their diet of being tree products, they don't get enough sodium from the trees. And so that makes total sense, like, that my cat is craving salt. And now that I'm on the carnivore diet, I'm always happy to share my breakfast and dinner with her. And I noticed that sometimes she likes the bacon and sometimes she likes the ground beef, but it depends on which one has more salt. I'll put a little bit of each down for her. And and I also noticed, like, years ago when I used to buy processed sandwich meat, that she just loved that, and that's full of salt. So it makes, to tie it all together, because they're putting grains in dog and cat kibble now, then that makes the animal need salt the same way vegetarian animals do. And I also saw, and I I didn't get a chance to look into the reasons why, but if a person is trying to lose weight, they need salt. Sodium helps weight loss. I don't understand how that works, but I saw it somewhere, some doctor's video or some website. I don't remember. And so if you want to help your pet, your dog or your cat or whatever, that is having health problems from the food they eat, if you're not able to find an alternative to feed them because they won't eat it, or because you're low income, or what you're on a budget, then the secret is that when you're eating salty food like bacon or a burger or whatever, share it with your pet and get them some sodium to help them process the grains in their food, and that will probably help the health problems that your pet is having from eating that food. All right, from that food. By that food, I mean the kibble, so with the grains in it. All right. Oh, I'm going to end this video showing you my cat. There she is. That's my little Tink. Is she so cute? Say hi, Tink. All right.